What are they trying to sell us and what are they getting out of it? Because no business person would want to invest in a losing concern.
Illegal poker dens in Shillong, in other parts of the state, which are running, illegally. So basically, the government has come with this act to prevent all this and also yield revenue for the state.
Employment and revenue for home and deprivation of livelihood for home. That we have to calculate. At the end of the day, whether the GDP will be increased.
I want to put forward the question to all of us here and to all the viewers at home. Will this act make our lives better? Will it take us forward to a brighter Meghalaya?
The bottom line is money. Bottom line is revenue for the state. That's the bottom line. And the Bible says the love of money is the root of evil. Why should we promote this? We should cut this root of evil.
Hello viewers. Today we have a panel discussion on legalizing of gambling and gaming in Meghalaya. It is a subject that has created a lot of controversies. There are people who say it's fine. I mean, we've always had gambling in some form or the other, like the archery, the team business. There are others who feel strongly that this will corrupt the young minds, especially because gaming can be done online. So to discuss this issue, we have here Bajop Pyngrope, former Congress MDC from Robertjune. Recently, he has joined the NPP. I actually have many questions to ask Bajop for his change of party, but today we will stick to gambling. Next to him is Bansharailang Pyngrope, a student president of the All India Trinamool Congress, and a person with a lot of ideas and a thinking person who's also written quite a few articles. Next to him is Robertjune Kharjahrin, a practicing advocate in the High Court, the District Council, and also president of the Untitled Youth Council. He has been very vocal against legalized gambling. And the person sitting opposite to me is Rev Edwin Kharkongor. He is the secretary of the Khasi Jaintia Church Leaders Forum. They had recently met the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma, to voice their opposition to the move to legalize gambling. So we come to this issue up front. The process for legalized gambling started in April last year, or February 2021, leading to the nullification of the Meghalaya Prevention of Gambling Act 1970 and effectively making gambling legal within the state of Meghalaya. At that time, we didn't see too many protests. In April this year, Meghalaya becomes the third state in the northeast after Nagaland and Sikkim to make gambling and online gaming legal. This is when trouble started. I mean, when people started thinking that this is not a good idea. And this push for legalized gambling started after the taxation minister, James Sangma, met representatives of the UK-India Business Council and other UK-based business persons to discuss the online gaming and sports betting landscape in the state. So the UKIBC's Gaming Industry Index found Meghalaya to be, it's quite ironic, to be the most gaming-friendly state in India. And what was the index used? It was it measured the extent to which each state has legalized gambling and betting based on their stance on several different games: lottery, horse racing, sports, betting, poker, rummy, casino, and fantasy sports. And ironically, archery is not mentioned here, but the UK people found this to be the place for gaming and gambling, and they said that it's going to create a lot of employment, plus it will yield revenue for the state. And I think that is the bottom line. So on this point, what do you as a member of the NPP Bajop Pyngrope have to say about this?
Thank you, Kong, and thank you to all my co-panelists who have come for this program. First and foremost, the people of the state, they should know very well the main aim of this act. The main aim of this act is because for the last 25 years, we have seen there are so many, these jackpot counters. There are so many youths, there are so many, illegal poker dens in Shillong, in other parts of the state, which are running, illegally. So basically, the government has come with this act to prevent all this and also yield revenue for the state. So basically, the main aim of this act is not, what people see outside, it's like, oh, Meghalaya is gonna legalize gambling. But if, from the government side, they have kept certain clauses. This particular act won't be, imposed in Shillong city or in other major towns of the state. But basically, it'll be in Khanapara. That's the only area where the government has decided they'll give a prospective license to only those places which is near the border area with Guwahati.
No, but what happens if I decide to gamble and I go to Khanapara?
There are clauses that locals from the state, they are not allowed to enter these casinos.
How do you identify the locals?
Yes, they need to, show their election ID. Accordingly, we'll know they are not from the state.
What do you have to say, Bansharai?
Yes. First and foremost, I want to thank Shillong Times for having this important discussion. And I also want to thank AITC for giving me this opportunity. I want to do justice to this opportunity by taking a wider view of not only AITC, but of the younger generation. Because now, gambling is going to be legalized in Meghalaya. I want to put forward the question to all of us here and to all the viewers at home. Will this act make our lives better? Will it take us forward to a brighter Meghalaya? Because we all know gambling is a social ill. It is illegal in most of the countries in the world. Even now, they're saying in Meghalaya, it'll be only for outsiders. Why so? See, the lockdown has clearly shown how it has deeply impacted our education, our employment. Now, the youths are growing increasingly frustrated. And I believe that we all have children at home. We can all see the young children at home now. They are very quick to learn things. They are very observant. So if the Chief Minister said that we will make Meghalaya a gambling destination, that will immediately strike their mind. See, what we all need now is guidance. The younger generation need guidance. In my own neighborhood, I can see younger boys and girls, younger than me, both boys and girls are now into drugs. It's not because they are bad. It's because they lack guidance. But now, if the leaders of our state, who are representing the state and all its people, they are guiding us towards this direction, it is very dangerous because it will set a very bad example, not just now, but for future generations to come.
Okay. Let me interject a little bit.
We'll come to that second round. Let them have the initial statement.
First of all, thank you, Kong, for this opportunity. Thank you, Shillong Times, for this opportunity, and thank you to everyone on the panel. I mean, in the past few weeks, in one of the group in HYZ group, along with the media, I've said that this is a very important issue that need to be debated. That's where democracy flourish. I've seen I've seen through media what's about the debate that had been taking place when this bill is introduced. I do not see much that the legislators debate. That's why we as ordinary people now have to debate, have to analyze the pros and cons of this legislation.
So we also see the weakness of the legislature as such.
And I think that's involved two hands. First, the weakness of the legislation. Secondly, the weakness of the people who elect also. So it need to be blamed to both, including ourselves. So let me. I don't want to go much into this. Let me stick to the legislation. You see, this legislation is not the first legislation that the government try to legalize gambling. First of all, they bring the Arrow Shooting Act 2018, and then they bring the Lottery Rule 2019. So this is the third legislation which this government come to legalize gambling. It's not the first. And if you look at the history of this legislation, first of all, they bring an ordinance. At what time? During pandemic. Why? They know nobody will object. Nobody will look into media because everybody is busy in pandemic. No social organization will be able to hold agitation because it's pandemic. The first question, what is the urgency of bringing an ordinance for gambling? What is ordinance? Ordinance is supposed to bring at the emergency situation. What is the emergency for gambling in Meghalaya? Do we need to have emergency that everybody has to go for gambling? No. Their very intention from day one is a fraudulent intention. Firstly, it's like that. Secondly, if we think that this legislation is supposed to legalize only casino, we are wrong. If you read the rule, it not only legalize casino, it legalize this local gambling also, which happening everywhere in the state illegally as of now. They have a provision, a temporary license for 2-3 days, where any individual or association or group can do that, which means we will bring gambling in each and every village. It's not just Khanapara, with due respect. I do not see any provision in the act or rule that it would say that will keep in the borders.
Even today,
so, and that is the thing.
Villages, you have that Khalaikan road.
Yes, which is illegal. The Karnataka in 2011, they bring an amendment to the Police Act stopping all illegal gambling. We in Meghalaya legalize every illegal gambling. And if we say that by legalized gambling we will prevent illegal activity, we are wrong. I will give an example of alcohol. For how many years Meghalaya has legalized selling of alcohol? Whether it stopped illegal selling? No. It's same thing. The moment you legalize it, still illegal activity is still going on. What is the logic of Meghalaya people cannot enter in casino? Because it's bad. So if it's bad for the people of Meghalaya, how can it be good for the people outside the state? What is the logic that if it is good, then why not you allow everyone? Because it's bad, that's why you kept in the border area. Because it's bad, that's why you only say only for the people. Which means if an Assamese is bankruptcy because of gambling is okay, and Khasi and Garo, then Assam also will open a casino near Khanapara. Say that if Khasi, Jentia, Garo are bankruptcy is okay, not Assamese. I mean, what is the logic? Is fraudulent? I do not see any logic. And secondly, I see that the taxation minister proudly declared that Meghalaya will be a gambling state. What projection that we want to project? Of course, I would like to make it very clear, as an organization, we are seculars, but we cannot rule out the influential of faith organization in the state. Look at what contribution the faith organization has done to school, hospital, charity, law and orders, morality. Can we just flip away that? No.
Okay,
so the point that I would like to make is very clear is that it seems like for this government, faith and morality came second or third, gambling came first. So we have to make a choice between faith, morality versus gambling. So I don't think so that HYC will go to gambling. We will go to faith, morality, and others think that the students leader from AITC is already commented.
Mm-hmm. Pastor, let us come to you now. You have never raised problems in 2018, 2019. Why now? Why at this juncture? What is so bad about this form of gambling, and what is not so bad about thought team archery? That also can cause a lot of bankruptcy among people. And with thought team, it is the last rung people in the economic ladder who are affected. So why this and why not that?
Thank you very much, Com, for this, and thank you, Shillong Times, for arranging this one. You know, we have never raised this as the Christian Leaders Forum. We have our aims and objectives, you know, for peace and harmony in society, and also to voice our concerns on certain aspects that we see, you know, affecting people who are members of the Christian community and society as a whole. It is also our burden. I'm very happy that Bansharai mentioned the youth who are the future of the state and of the country. It is also our burden for the future, for the children, for the young people. So when Shillong Times gave a big headline, Meghalaya government legalizes gambling, that brought everybody to, you know, on everything. It sharpened it. And then like Robertjune said, it became a topic for discussion on all platforms in different dimensions. Even us as a Christian Leaders Forum, we never made this an issue, but when this has become a concern for the public, especially public here, majority are Christians, are people of faith, you know, with respect, with family care, community working together and all that. So we decided to take a stand and to voice our concern. Because we made a stand this time and we showed our voice because of the detrimental effects. Bansharai has mentioned it is a social evil with intergenerational effects, you know, and affecting not only the individual, making an individual into an addict. He may go bankrupt because of this debt that will keep adding. You have rightly said the people of the lowest rung of society, every 10, 20 rupees every day for the 1 year, it amounts to a lot. And how much hardship, how much agony to the family. As a father or as a mother, as a parent, how can the children have any pride, have a sense, you know, of pride in themselves and in the family, among others? So that is one. Then to the family and the society, between the husband and wife, it can lead to a breakdown of relationship between parents and children. So these are things. And then studies have also shown that those who are addicted to this, you know, they are prone also even to harm themselves, up to the extent of suicide. There are studies in the UK and Sweden on gambling and suicidability. There's a study that has been published last year on gambling and suicidability. And out of a sample of 2,000 people, the ratio is 15 to 1 of those people who are indebted and into debt and bankrupt. They go into this, you know, they fall into the trap of committing this act. So there are several aspects. As Christian leaders, we have the Bible, you know, although Bible doesn't say much for or against gambling, but you have mentioned the bottom line is money. Bottom line is revenue for the state. That's the bottom line. And the Bible says the love of money is the root of evil. Why should we promote this? We should cut this.
So the government has also said that it will create employment. Yeah. What do you have to say about that? What sort of employment do you think will be created by this, especially if it is going to be held in Khanapara?
Okay.
Or maybe it wants young people to take to conduct these games, to do gaming.
See, I'll speak.
No, ma'am, I would like to come to this. No, as of now, government say in media that they were going to do this. There's no way it's reflecting the rule on that. As of now, this act and rule apply to all the state. You can
Anywhere
apply
in
in
Meghalaya.
Overat, you can apply in Shillong, you can apply anywhere. And as I tell you, Khanapara may be a destination center for casino, but what about those local, as I tell you, those temporary license that you see that you are going to issue temporary license, 2-3 day temporary license. Those will be held in every town and locality and villages. And it will become a day-to-day affairs every market area in rural area, in every market day.
So yes, this act might generate employment, might generate revenue. Studies have shown across countries where they have legalized gambling that it has not really lifted up the economy of the local area. It has not. But say it does. Do we choose this over these other ills?
At what cost?
At what cost? So let's look for alternatives. We Meghalaya have been blessed. We are a blessed state, blessed with so many resources, with people who are capable to do so many things. So why do we have to go to this? Why don't we work on tourism? NPP, in the run-up to the 2018 elections, said that we will set up an effective Meghalaya tourism policy. But till date, we are still following the Meghalaya tourism policy made in 2011, done by the government led by Dr. Mukul Sangma. So let's work towards other revenues from other areas, not towards this area.
Actually, tourism is our strength. So we should be working around that. I don't know, I don't understand, because yesterday the group of ministers had met, and they have said they have reached a consensus on matters relating to GST regulations on casinos, race courses and online gaming in Meghalaya. A few days ago, Taxation Minister James Sangma said, no, we are not having casinos. So what is this ambiguity all about? You might know because you're in the ruling party.
See, what advice, my co-panelists are giving, I'll take it to the leadership. Like Robert said, gambling might happen in each and every corner of the state. But according to the leadership, I've spoken with him, it's strictly that, locals are not allowed. That is number one. And when I come,
When you say locals are not allowed,
yes.
But what about that Khalaikan road? When that becomes legalized, you can't stop that.
It will happen everywhere. It's already happened everywhere as of now. Instead of sending the police, now you legalize it. You see, when we talk about issue, I'll just go to what you have already notified in the Gazette. There's nowhere showing that only Khanapara, there's nowhere showing that only casino. Every sort of gambling in the Schedule A and Schedule B has been legalized, including online. And let me say one thing, ma'am, with regarding revenue and employment. You see, when we talk about revenue and employment, we cannot only talk in the context of the means, we have to see the ends also. So if we talk about revenue and employment in the context of means only, that will be a short-sightedness of the leadership, to be very sorry. You see, employment and revenue for home and deprivation of livelihood for home, that we have to calculate. At the end of the day, whether the GDP will be increased. How much money will the state earn, and how much money will the state has to invest on law and orders, on social evil activity, which will indirectly or directly create from this. So that has to be balanced. I don't buy that argument that they will create employment and revenue, because at the end of the day, the losses that we are going to suffer, the family, the GDP in each and every household will be negative compared to what the state will earn. The state will, royalty, I saw that there is a provision, a gambling royalty. No doubt you will get royalty. But how much you will get and how much the family will suffer. At the end of the day, who will benefit? The company, the businessman. Not the state, not the society as a whole. So this, I don't buy that argument of employment
and also
revenue on
for the
this
state
aspect.
to yield to a group, the UK-India business group. What is the larger intent of that group? I think we've got to look into that as well. What are they trying to sell us, and what are they getting out of it? Because no business person would want to invest in a losing concern.
Yes.
So they're looking at earning from Meghalaya. And how much is the extent of that earning? And why are we doing it? I think we need to be raising very serious questions. Would you like to respond?
Yes. Actually, we should take example, like, our state still, we are like a begging bowl, to the country's capital, Delhi. And when you say, yes, alcohol also is bad for the, for the state, but still we have the Excise Act. Why? The amount which is generated from the Excise Act and from the amount which will be generated from this Gaming Act, ultimately it'll be useful for for the states and so many government servants also from these from these revenue that their salary also are being paid. And one more thing, Kongpat, this issue, Pastor said, yes, First Timothy chapter 6. Verse 10 clearly states that, there's not even one word in the Bible which is against or for gambling. But it says that corruption, making money through, routes which are evil, that is, faster way of making money, that is, which is being quoted.
Isn't gambling that route?
Yes, so basically, Kongpat, to make the viewers understand that, basically, like what Robert said, all those local like that Khalai, Krok, everything. I personally, me as a member of the NPP, I'm very concerned also. I'll take this up with my party leadership, and then we'll make sure that there are clauses that the people of the state are not allowed to enter these casinos. Number one. Number two is like when we say the government it has come up with this. For the viewers, most of the people, the whole while, they don't have any information about what's going on regarding these online games, these poker online. There are so many apps. You go now, ADA 52, Poker Stars, everywhere. You can do it now. You can do it with your debit card. You can play gambling. So many youths are alert to this. But when this act will come into place, will regulate all those, those apps which are from outside, not to be allowed in the state of Meghalaya. That is the basic aim of this, this gaming rules.
But can I ask one question? And I'm asking you because you are in the NPP, which is in the ruling government. Why was this act or proposed bill not debated publicly before it was legalized, before it was passed as an act?
I'll be very honest with this. Yes, this act, like Robert said. But the thing is, when it was tabled in the assembly, all the political parties, not even one political party also object.
This is a fact.
Not one political party object. So what
See, the point
yes.
is that most political parties today are not intelligent enough to understand the larger repercussions of this act.
It's simple, like it's.
Because of that, you need a public debate. Why should you confine this, this debate only to the legislature? We understand that we've elected representatives, but we also are a democracy. We need a public debate on all issues, actually.
Yes, basically, because at the end of the day.
And why did the TMC not raise any questions
opposition
in the House?
So the thing is, at that point of time, there were issues that were already tabled at that point of time. But now our party has clearly, through our leader, viewed or expressed the sentiments of the people of the state that we are totally opposed to this bill. Because why? Yes, maybe it might generate revenue, but there are so many other streams for the state. Our state is an education hub, and we are proud of that. Since 1973, the first Central University, Nehu, was brought to our state. It's such a proud thing for us. Our former leaders have fought for IIM, NIFT, IHM to be, for it to be here in Meghalaya. But now we can see that for even CUET, for this common university entrance test to be held in our state, we do not even have the infrastructure for that. It means our state and education hub is actually lagging behind. So why don't we concentrate in education? So many students now, older students, who are say in their 30s, now they have set up their own private coaching institutes for SSC, for UPSC, for other exams. See, there are so many exams. And people from all over the Northeast, they come to Meghalaya to study their degree or postgraduate, but they go for coaching in Delhi. So why not set up some incentives or subsidies from the government to bring up these coaching institutes instead? That will also generate employment for the state.
In fact, that will generate more
One thing, ma'am, that I would like to raise. You see, as the student leaders has rightly said that, of course, in the past, that we have been looked by all the Northeast as educational hub, which nowadays slightly decrease on that. Imagine we as parents from Mizoram, Nagaland, Manipur. Now that we know that gambling is legalized, and not only legalized as per the act, it would be allowed to advertise, publicity. Which parent will send student to go to that state for studying, and they will be themselves tempted by gambling. So this act, let me tell you very free and frank, this act will destroy that good credibility that we have, that the former trader in the past 45 years has built it. I mean, who parent will send kids to a state where we know that they can easily gambling?
No, and we have IIMs and all those.
It will be destroyed entirely. Educational hub. It's supposed to be calm. It's supposed to be free from all the disturbance. That's why they are sending here. Now, the moment they come to Meghalaya, everything's free. Gambling is free. We can do it local every now and then. Whose parent will send? I think. Let me be very frank. In order to save the reputation of the state, and I like the way the Supreme Court is functioning nowadays. What does Supreme Court do in sedition law? They pause the implication of the act until the government decided. I think it's high time that the state government should pause this, let debate taking place, and if the people opinion feel that it has to be repealed, it has to. It has to. I don't mind people make mistake. Even the government make mistake. I don't want to blame it. But at least pause it for now. Let's have a debate. I congratulate Shillong Times for bringing this debate. I think it's the first public debate. Let's do more debate on it, including the top official government. If we as the people of the state feel that it has to be, it should be repealed, it should be repealed. Because the implication of this, the impact of this, it will have an impact to each and every family. Mark my word. Each and every family.
See, to follow up on that, you see this, what Robert has said, and all of us are saying, that this act will be like a key that opens up other opportunities for criminal activities, illegal activities, violence, all these things, and when people are
going to add to the family breakdowns, you think?
Yes,
Bankruptcy,
certainly.
financial crisis.
When people are looking at revenue generation as a primary, we are saying that the revenue leakage should be plugged first of all. Then that is corruption, because the more the money comes in, the more the corruption will grow.
So there has been an article yesterday, for instance, saying that the church leaders are silent on corruption. Why have they spoken up now only against gambling? So I think maybe there's a lesson to be learned.
Everybody is responsible, and it is high time. This is the time when we should unitedly voice our, and we have a constituency among the young people who have more clarity on their vision for the future and responsibility. So this is the time that we have to raise a voice.
Is this going to be a key election issue 2023?
See, well, compared, let me come to history a little bit. Like Robert said, each and every family will be destroyed due to this act. I can't see any family in Goa being destroyed or in Sikkim where this gambling has been legalized for so long. So basically, but we can see that the state, like Goa, mostly people think Goa is a Christian state. No, it's not a Christian state. Only 25% of the population is Christian.
Money on
So-
Goa casino. Should we do?
No. So basically, we can see the economy of Sikkim, and when Bansarai said, how to boom tourism, casino also is one way of, increasing tourism.
With due respect,
At what cost?
We all know, with due respect. Well, I don't want to bring this topic, but it has to be brought in the public. We all know that sex tourism also increased tourism. Should we go ahead for that?
No.
Just for the sake of promotion tourism?
And these things go side by side. In Goa,
have to see that's why
gambling
policy-
is legalized, and side by side, prostitution also is very high in Goa because of this. Because what are the highs of gambling? When you win from gambling, where do you usually spend that money? On booze, on drugs, on prostitutes? And what are the lows of it? You go into bankruptcy, you go into depression, families break down, and especially us in Meghalaya, we have the high number of single mothers in Meghalaya is so high
41%.
that it's
41%.
It is crazy to even think that a matrilineal society like Meghalaya has so many single mothers. So what are the impact? How we have to think of the image and the vibe of Meghalaya. The vibe of Meghalaya is important. It's education, and let's continue with that vibe.
If we do not have any more points to put out, then we shall close this debate today. And maybe we can have a fresh debate after this gentleman takes it up with his political bosses.
I want to say one thing
Yes.
before we end. AITC will repeal this act in a few months when we come to government.
Okay.
I would like to say that before this act implemented, it has to be paused first. No implementation whatsoever. Let's not take a risk. Let's pause. Let's have a proper debate. Let's have a proper. Let's bring study from Goa, from Kerala, not Goa, Sikkim, and other thing. And we can even do study in our own state when these illegal activities are already happening. And the moment we do that, we will see the result. And the result, as shown in already study, has already been done by various scholars. And I do feel it has to be paused first, and debate should be taking place in a democracy. And at the end of the day, I feel that it has to be repealed. This legislation, it has to be repealed. We already have another gambling. We already have the arrow shooting tears. We already have lottery. I think we cannot add more to that list. With due respect, we cannot afford to add more to that list.
Yes. So, viewers, on that note, we will close this debate. You have heard at least 3 panelists speaking against the motion, against gambling, against casinos, and 1 member of the ruling party trying to support this move. We leave it to you, readers, viewers, to make up your own minds and to also share your views. It's very important in a democracy that we make our views public. We cannot just sit around and talk amongst ourselves and then let that matter rest there. We've got to make issues a public issue. Every issue is a public issue because it affects every one of us. It affects every household. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.